In this video, let's go ahead and practice drawing some geometric nets as well as calculate some surface area together. To get the most out of this video, I encourage you to grab some paper, something to write with, and let's do some math together. In number 1, we have a rectangular prism that has bases that are 2 units long and 2 units wide, as well as a height that is 3 units high. Alright, so if we're going to go ahead and sketch the net for this shape here, let's go ahead and start with the base. The base we know is going to be 2 units by 2 units, so maybe something that looks like this. Go ahead and label 2 and 2 on here. The height is going to be 3, so let's see. The height of this is going to be how tall the front is going to be. This is going to be 2 by 3. Okay. And then let's see, if the bottom is going to be 2 by 2, that means the top is also going to be 2 by 2. So that means the bottom and the top are both going to be these squares here. So 2 by 2. All right, so we kind of have the front and the top and the bottom. What about the left side and the right side? Well, let's see. That's on the left side, it's got to be a 3 by 2. All right. And then the left side here is also going to have to be a 3 by 2. So maybe something like this. All right, so here is a 2 by 3, as well as another 2 by 3 rectangle. And hopefully you can see here that if we kind of fold everything up, we have 5 of the 6 sides here. We kind of need a 6th side here to kind of close up this rectangular prism or this box. And let's see, we need one more rectangle. There's more than one place to put it. You could put it on the other side as well, or you could put it on the bottom if you wanted to. But I think this here would be a good net here. So maybe I can label these as, if this is the bottom, this would maybe be the top, right? Maybe this would be the front, and this would be the back over here. And then over here, this would be the left side, and this would be the right side. So this right here would be a good example of a net that you could draw for this rectangular prism. Now let's go ahead and calculate the surface area. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with the area of the top and the bottom. So I'm going to say bottom and top. Those are both going to be those squares there. So the area is going to be 2 times 2. That's base times height. But also keep in mind that there's 2 of these things. So let's go ahead and multiply that by 2. So the bottom is going to be 4, but that means the top is also going to be 4. So 4 times 2, that's going to be 8 square units. That's going to be the area for the top and bottom squares. Okay, now let's go ahead and find the area of the, let's do the front and the back maybe. The front and the back. Now the front, that's going to be right over here. This is a 2 by 3 rectangle. So to find the area of that, that's going to be 2 multiplied by 3. But keep in mind that there's the front and the back, so there's 2 of those. So 2 times 3 is 6. That's one of them, but then you have 2 of these. So that's going to be a total of 12 units squared. That's going to be the area of the front and the back. So right now we have 4 of the sides. Let's go ahead and find out the 5th and 6th side. So let's do the area of the left side and the right side, those rectangles there. So let's go ahead and see. These are actually also 2 by 3 as well. So you could have just done the front and back times 4, I guess. But I'm just going to write it out very clearly because it's not always going to be a square on the bottom. So 2 times 3 multiplied by 2. Again, this isn't hard to kind of hopefully write because we just did this. And then that's going to be 12 units squared as well. So this is going to be the bottom and top. That's going to be this one and this one. This 12 is taking care of the front and the back. That's this rectangle and this rectangle. And this is taking care of the left side and the right side. So all of these would fold up to make a rectangular prism. So putting this all together, if we want to find the entire surface area, I'm going to use SA to abbreviate the surface area, but this is going to be 8 square units plus the 12 square units plus another 12 square units. So I think that's going to be a total of 32. I think it's going to be 32 square units. That would be the surface area. All right, cool. That would be our final answer. For number 2, we have a square pyramid that's going to be 4 units long, and the height of each triangular face is going to be 3 units. Okay, so let's see. We have a square pyramid, so if we have a square, keep in mind that the length and the width are going to be the same. So if we know it is 4 units long, it's also going to be 4 units wide. So I'm going to go somewhere in the middle of this grid here. I'm going to draw 4 units, 1, 2, 3, and 4, something like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, cool. So here we have a square that is 4 units long. It's also 4 units wide. I'm going to go ahead and label this as 4 and 4. Okay. Now, if we have a pyramid, we know that besides the base, everything else is going to be a triangle. And so let's go ahead and draw a height here. We're told the height of each triangle is going to be 3. So let's go ahead and just draw a dotted line going 3 units out from the middle of where the square is each time. Let's go out here and here and here. So we know the height is going to be 3. This height is going to be 3, this height's going to be 3, and this height's going to be 3. So let's go ahead and sketch these triangles out. This is the triangle that would make one of the faces going along the slant of that pyramid. Here's another one over here. Here's another one over here. There should be 4 of these, right? And here is the last one. Something along the lines of this would be good. I'm just going to go ahead and draw in these little right angle boxes just so it's clear that these are the heights, just to be extra precise here and trying to make it as clear as possible. So this would be a good net here. This right here, this square is going to be the base of the pyramid, right? So if we're going to go ahead and find the surface area of this thing, keep in mind that we have 5 different faces here. So let's go ahead and find the area of the base first. So I'm going to do area of the base. I guess I'll just write out base so it's super clear, but you can use abbreviations if you would like. Let's see, it's just going to be a parallelogram here. So it's just going to be 4 times 4. That's going to be 16 units squared, or squared units. That takes care of that one. But then let's go ahead and take care of all of the other faces there. They're all triangles, so I'm going to go ahead and abbreviate it like this. I'm going to say the area of the triangle. Let's see, there are 4 of these. So how do you find the area of a triangle? Well, it's going to be base times height, but then we're going to divide it by 2. So let's see, we'll do half. You can write as half times base times height, right? So half times base times height. So this would be the area of just one triangle, but how many are there? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 4 of these triangles. Let's go ahead and just take this area of one triangle and then multiply that by 4. So let's go ahead and take care of the area of one triangle first. So this would be 12. Half of 12 is going to be 6. So one of the triangles is going to be 6, but we have 4 of them, right? So 6 times 4, that's going to be 24 units squared. All right, cool. So if we want to find the surface area, we have this 16, which takes care of the base, and this 24 is actually taking care of all 4 of these triangles. So if we go ahead and just add up 16 for the base plus 24 for all of the other faces there, that's going to be a total of 40 units squared. That would be the surface area of this square pyramid. All right, cool. Let's check out a third problem. This one looks like we have a pencil box here. So we know the top of this pencil box is going to be 8 inches by 3 inches, and we know the side is going to be 3 inches by 2 inches. Let's go ahead and label that here. All right, so we know the length is going to be 8, and the width is going to be 3. And the other dimension for the top is going to be 3. We're also told that the side is going to be 3 by 2, so here's that 3 here, and this must be 2 then. All right, so it says to sketch and label the dimensions of this net and then find the surface area. So let's go ahead and draw the net here. I'm going to start with the top. So the top we know is going to be 8 by 3. So maybe this can be our 3, and then this could be our 8. So it's definitely got to be longer. So this right here would be the top of this pencil box. I'm just going to label this as the top. Then what do we know about the side? Well, we know the side here is going to be 3 by 2, it looks like, right? So let's go ahead and just label that as, we know this is already 3, but this then coming out would be maybe 2, right? So here would be 3 by 2. We'll call that maybe the right side. But keep in mind that if that's on the right side, that the left side should match as well for this rectangular prism or this box here. So try to do your best and label it as like 3 by 2 as well. That's going to be the left side. So what about the front? The front here, they don't really tell it to us exactly, but the front here where it says pencils, this has to be 8 as well, right? And we know the height of this must be the same as the height over here, so that must be 2. So let's go ahead and say this is going to be 8 by 2. So let's go ahead and make sure we come out roughly the same amount as what we did earlier for the other dimension of 2. So we can say this is the front, this is where it would say pencils, right? So it would be 8 by 2. But then the back here is also going to be that same, right? So keep in mind that every other box here, every other rectangle has to be the same dimensions. So this is also going to be 8 by 2. This right here, I'm going to label as the back. Okay, running out of space just a little bit there. And then let's see, if we have 5 of these faces here, we need one more. We have a left, right, we have a front and a back. We also need a bottom for to match the top. So let's go ahead, the bottom, if the top is 8 by 3, then the bottom must also be 8 by 3. You can choose where you want to put this, but this should be a little bit longer than the last rectangle we drew. Maybe something like this. This will be the bottom. I'm going to say BOT for the bot. And so that would be 8 by 3. So here would be a good net, hopefully. And so let's go ahead and find the area of 2 at a time here, just because they kind of match. Let's just do maybe the left and the right first. The left and the right we knew are going to be, 2 by 3, and there's 2 of them. So we can go ahead and say it's going to be the 2 times 3. That's going to be the area of 1 times 2. So we have 6 times 2. That would be a total of 12 units squared. That's for the left and right. What about the front and the back? Let's do the front and the back. Let's see, the front and the back, that's going to be 8 by 2. So let's see, 8 by 2, that's one of them, but then there's 2. So 16 times 2, that's going to be 32 units squared. And then let's take care of the top and the bottom. So top and bottom. Let's see, top and bottom, that is going to be 8 by 3. I think that's the biggest face here. So we have 8 by 3. But again, there's 2 of those. So we have 24 times 2. That's going to be 48 units squared. All right, altogether, if we go ahead and add up the area of all these faces, we have 12 plus this 32 plus this 48. So if you add these all up together, I believe we're going to have 92. What are our units? I think we have inches, so this should be inches squared. So I just realized we should go back and actually fix all these units over here. This should say inches squared as well. This should say inches squared, and this one should also say inches squared. So this would be our surface area, or how much space we kind of need to occupy the outside of this shape here. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and try a few more here. All right, for number 4, it looks like we have a cube, which is kind of nice here, right? Cubes are going to have 6 of the same faces here. So I'm going to go ahead and just label and sketch this net out. So first of all, we have a square. So let's go ahead and just draw a square. Again, don't draw these too big because we're going to need 6 of these, right? So go ahead and sketch out one of these, 2, and 3. I think the most you can put in a row is going to be 4. If you put a 5th one, it's going to overlap. So you want to be careful with these cubes. There are lots of ways you can draw nets for cubes. I'm going to go ahead and just draw mine this way though. Okay, that would be one on the left side, and for the one on the, well, that'd be on the right side. One on the left side here, doesn't really matter where you put it. You can put it anywhere along this side here, but all the dimensions here are going to be 9 by 9. And you don't need to label all of them here just because they're all 9 by 9, but if you just want to label a couple of them, since just make it a little bit more clear, I promise all these are going to be 9 by 9. So this would be a good net here. Again, they're all the same, so don't worry about it too much. But we can go ahead and say here that the area of one of these little squares is just going to be 9 by 9. Okay, and a good way you can kind of show that you're finding the area of all of them is just then multiply that by 6. So this is going to be 81 multiplied by 6. 81, if we go ahead and multiply that by 6, we should get a total of 486. And what are our units here? I think it's going to be inches squared. So the surface area, so the area of one of them is 81, one face, but the area of the entire rectangular prism here is going to be 486 square inches, right? That would be the surface area. In terms of naming this thing, we can go and say that this would be a rectangular prism. But you could also go ahead and call this something more specific. You can call this a cube as well. It's a very specific rectangular prism if all of the dimensions are the same. All right, cool. Let's try another one here. Let's try number 5. In this case, maybe I'll go ahead and just name it first. I didn't name it the last time first, but this is not a pyramid. A pyramid only has one base, and then it has everything else as a triangle, but we have multiple other shapes besides triangles here. So this must be a prism. It's not a rectangular prism because a rectangular prism has all rectangles, but it does have triangles and has 2 of them. So this must be a triangular prism. And keep in mind, prisms have 2 bases and the rest are all rectangles. So you can see there are 2 of what? There are 2 of these triangles, and everything else is going to be a rectangle. So that's how we know it's a triangular prism. All right, so getting right into it, let's start by just sketching a net out. I'm going to start with drawing the bottom here. That's just a little bit easier for me. So when I say bottom, I'm going to go with this 8 by 5. So this 8 by 5 rectangle, it will be the bottom. That'll be my 5, and then 8 should be a little longer here. So I'm going to draw something that looks like this. So we have 5, and then we have 8. Okay, that's going to be the bottom. What's connected to the bottom? Well, if we go ahead and see, we have this triangle that's 8 by 6. So we already know that this is going to be 8. So let's go ahead and draw a line that's a little longer than 5. Make this one 6 here. And then let's go ahead and draw the diagonal here, or the hypotenuse. This is a right triangle here. I'm going to put that little box. Okay, but this is our 8 by 6. That's going to be one of those triangles. Keep in mind that we have another one of these triangles in the background here, and that matches or is congruent to our triangle we just drew. So that should match the one we just drew there. Okay, so something like this. Let's go ahead and call this one also 8 by 6. Okay. What else do we have here? Well, we have this side that's going to be 5 by 6, right? We have this rectangle that's coming straight up and down. So we already know that's going to be on the left side here. This is 5. This must come out as 6 here. So hopefully that makes sense. This dimension here should match this dimension here because they're going to line up with each other. And so let's go ahead and try to draw that the best we can. Again, it takes a little bit of practice here, but this will be 5 by 6. And then what's missing here? Well, this one's kind of most confusing one maybe, but this is the one we're missing is going to be this slanted rectangle that is kind of the ramp of this thing, right? And so that's going to be 10 by 5. And so keep in mind here that we already have this as 5. And so this slant is actually 10. Right, we can label this as 10. So this must come out as 10 as well, because it's going to have to line up with it and lie right on top of that slanted part. So something that looks something like this. This will be a 5 by 10. And you can see that this one should lie right on top of this one if that's going to be the ramp of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take care. We have a bunch of different faces. Keep in mind, these two are going to be the same. That should save us some time. And then we have 3 different rectangles here. So we have a little bit of work to do for all these different shapes. Okay, so I'm going to start with the triangles just to get those out of the way. So the area of the triangles here, let's see, that's going to be 8 by 6, but we have to divide by 2. So let's do half of 8 times 6, base times height divided by 2. But keep in mind that there are 2 of these, right? So 8 times 6 is 48. Half of 48 is going to be 24. That's one triangle, but if you double that, that's going to bring us back to 48. So we have 48 square feet. That takes care of both triangles there. Okay. Let's go ahead and maybe I'll label these a little bit better here. Let's call this area 1. I'll call this one over here area 2. And then I'll call this one over here area 3. The triangles are already kind of done and they're different, so hopefully that's clear enough. So let's do area 1. This one is going to be 6 by 5. So let's go ahead and just do 6 by 5. And there's only one of these, so that's just going to be 30 square feet. Okay, taking care of area number 2. That's just another rectangle. This is going to be 8 by 5. So 8 by 5. There's only one of these, so that's going to be 40 square feet. And then finally here, we have a third area. So let's do area number 3. That is going to be 10 by 5. And there's only one of these, so let's just do 10 times 5, and that's going to be 50 square feet. Okay, so let's go ahead and just take all this information and find the total surface area, which is everything added together. So we have 48 plus we have this 30. Let's go ahead and add on. We have this 40 for one of the rectangles. And then we have one more, which is that 50, that final face. If we add these all up together, let's see, that's going to be 120, I think. 120 plus 48, I think it's going to be 168 feet squared. This would be the surface area of this triangular prism. All right, let's take a look at another shape. This one for number 6 is another rectangular prism. So this is going to be kind of similar to number 4, except they're not all going to be the same parallelogram. They're going to be rectangles, it looks like, instead of squares. All right, I'm going to start with the bottom here. It looks like we have a rectangle that's 2.2 by 3.7. So let's go ahead and sketch that out here. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this 3.7. Again, it's an estimate, right? But 3.7 should definitely be longer, and then the 2.2 should definitely be shorter. So I'm going to put the 2.2 inside this time, just to see if I can save a little bit of space. That's going to be the bottom. What about the front? The front is going to be 2.2 by 5.8. So I already have the 2.2. Let's go 5.8 down here. That should be definitely longer. So that's 2.2 and then 5.8. So 5.8. If this is the front, I'm also just going to do the back here. The back is also going to be 2.2 by 5.8. So this is also 5.8. Okay, so we have the bottom, and we also have the front and the back. What do we know about the sides here? The sides are going to be 3.7 by 5.8. That's what each of these sides are going to be. So we already have this as 3.7, right? And if this is 5.8 tall, kind of makes sense. This should go 5.8 out this way. It's got to match that dimension. So let's go ahead and say this would be the side. This is going to be 3.7 by 5.8. And if that is going to be the left side, or right side rather, the left side is going to be the same thing. So just doing a rough sketch here, trying to draw it roughly the right dimensions. And so I think everything we have here, we have the floor is over here, the bottom. Then we have the left side, the right side, we have the back, we have the front. We're kind of just missing the lid here or the top. And you can really put this anywhere you want. We could put it here, we could put it here, or here, or here. All of them are okay, right? They're all gonna work. So 2.2 by 3.7. So let's just make sure this is a little longer, going up and down here. This is 2.2. This would be 3.7. Okay. Let's call this area, let's kind of label these. I'll call this area 1. We'll call this area 1 just because they're the same thing, right? We'll call this one area 2. How about this one's also area 2? And let's call this one area 3 and area 3. Okay, just to be super clear. So let's go ahead and find out all of these little areas. So area 1 is going to be 2.2 multiplied by 3.7. Okay, but keep in mind we're going to have to multiply this by 2, right? Because there's 2 of these. So let's go ahead and multiply 2.2 times 3.7. And let's go ahead and take that answer and multiply it by 2. And so you should get 8.14 for one of them, but multiplied by 2, that is going to be 16.28. And that's going to be square meters. Again, that's keeping in mind that's for 2 of the shapes. That's for the bottom and the top. Let's take care of the front and the back now. Let's do area number 2. Area number 2, that should be, let's see, I think that's going to be 2.2 multiplied by 5.8. 5.8, and then there's going to be 2 of these. So let's see, what is 2.2 times 5.8? That is going to be 12.76. But then if you multiply that by 2, that is going to end up being 25 and 52 hundredths. That's going to be meters squared. Okay, so that takes care of the front and back. And now we also have to go ahead and take care of the sides. So let's do the sides here. I think those are going to be 3.7 by 5.8. And again, there's 2 of these. So let's find out the area of 1 first. It's 3.7 multiplied by 5.8. That's 21 and 46 hundredths. But if you go ahead and double that, that should be 42 and 92 hundredths. So that's going to be that meters squared. All right, so for the surface area, let's go ahead and just take these and add them together. So we should take this 16.28. Let's go ahead and add on the 25.52. Let's go ahead and add on that final 42 and 92 hundredths. I'm going to move this over a little bit. I ran out of space. 42 and 92 hundredths. So let's go ahead and add these all up. we have 16.28 plus 25.52 plus 42.92. So this should get us a total surface area of 84.72 square meters. That would be the surface area for this rectangular prism. I don't think I actually named it yet, so let's go ahead and just write at the top here. This is a rectangular prism. I keep writing the R first, I don't know why. Okay, so that's the name here. Maybe I'll just kind of highlight so that it's super clear. I know the colors kind of match the other ones here. So that's a rectangular prism. This one's also a rectangular prism, or you can call it a cube. And then down here, we said this one was a triangular prism. So hopefully that's a little bit more clear. This one over here, I guess I'm just gonna write the same thing. This is also a triangular prism. All right, cool. One final shape here. For number 7, we have another triangular prism. Again, this one kind of looks like a little tent here. In the last one, we had a right triangle as the base. In this case, we don't have a right triangle. It looks like we have an isosceles acute triangle. So here's our isosceles acute triangle here. But don't worry, we do have the base here, and we do have the height, which is all we need to find the area of that, right? To start off, to find to draw the net here, I'm going to start with the bottom. It just kind of helps me stay grounded here. So let's go ahead and just say the bottom here is going to be 3 by 3.2. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch that as, maybe this is 3, and then this would be a little longer. I'll call this one 3.2. 3.2. All right, so that's gonna be the bottom here. What's connected to the bottom? I like drawing the triangles next, so I'm gonna draw this triangle that's gonna be connected to the side that is 3. That's where the triangles are coming out from. So let's go ahead and draw this one out as 3. And the height's 3.7, so it's a little taller, I guess, right? So here's one triangle, roughly, and here's another triangle. So do your best to make those match. This height here, I'm gonna draw that dotted line, and you should too. Each of these are going to be a height of 3.7. This height is also 3.7. That's how tall those triangles are. So you can kind of see we just need a rectangle over here, and we need a rectangle that matches over here. That'll kind of be these slanted rectangles that would be keeping who you hopefully draw if you were in a tent over here, right? So what are these rectangles? They're 3.2 by 4. So we already have 3.2. We need to have the 4 coming out here. So this should be longer, coming out this way. And then we should have another one down here that comes out a little longer as well. So again, this is 3.2, and then this should be 4. This should be 3.2, and this should be 4. And keep in mind that this 4 that's coming along here, again, should match this as well. Just like this 4 that's coming out here should match this 4 as well. So if you want to write that in, you can. We didn't really need to know the slanted length, I guess, for the purpose of the triangle, but it is important to know that that's 4 for the purpose of the slanted rectangles there. Okay. Hopefully this isn't too bad. I'm going to call this one area 1. That's the bottom. Then I'm going to go ahead and call these other rectangles. These ones match here, so I'm going to call them both area number 2. And I'll do the third one here as area number 3. So these triangles I'll call A3 and A3. I know there's a lot going on here. All right, so let's start with the bottom, the area number 1. That is going to be what we said it was 3.2 by 3. So there's only one of these, so it's 3.2 multiplied by 3. But then there's only one, so we don't have to do too much here. But what is 3.2 times 3? That's going to be 9.6, and that's meters squared. And let's go ahead and take care of the other rectangle, so area number 2. Let's do 3.2 multiplied by 4. That's going to be this rectangle, 3.2 times 4. But keep in mind that there are 2 of these, so we got to multiply this by 2. So let's see, 3.2 multiplied by 4 is going to be 12.8. That's one of them, so times that by 2. That's going to be 25.6 square meters. Okay, and then finally, let's take care of those triangles. These triangles are the ones we're talking about here and here. So maybe it's easier to see here, but this is 3 for the base, and then the height here we said was 3.7. So keep in mind that these triangles have a slightly different formula, so don't forget that. So it's going to be 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. So 1/2 times the base times the height. So this is going to be the area of one of the triangles, but keep in mind that we have to multiply this by 2 because we have 2 triangles. Hopefully it makes sense too that this half and this 2 will cancel each other out because they're reciprocals, but up to you how you want to kind of take care of that. So 3 times 3.7, total area for the triangle should be 11.1 square meters. Okay, so let's put this all together for the surface area. The surface area is going to be the bottom of this kind of tent shape, which is 9.6. Plus, we're going to add up the 2 slanted rectangles. That's going to be 25.6 square meters. And then we have to do the 2 triangles combined. Those 2 triangles are going to be 11.1. So if we go ahead and add these all together, we have 9.6. Plus, we're going to add the 25.6. And then we're going to add on that 11.1. So we should get a total surface area here, I believe, of 46.3 square meters. So this would be the surface area of this triangular prism. All right, cool. So there you have 7 different practice problems where we took some 3D shapes. Some of them were prisms and some of them were pyramids. We went ahead and sketched their nets so we can see how we can kind of unfold these 3D shapes and flatten them out into some nets. And then we went ahead and calculated the surface area, or all the areas of the surfaces added up all together. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing with a classmate or friend who might also find it helpful. And as always, keep up the great work that you're already doing.